birthday. I'm recording.
How dare you? Can I record?
Maybe in just a minute. Get everybody's attention real quick.
My mom, Bobbie, are so thrilled for this celebration, and we are so pleased that you chose to spend your Saturday afternoon helping celebrate. And we are going to sing happy birthday, and then we'll let them blow their candles out. And of course, we didn't put that many candles on the cake, so it won't fire today. So we're just going to put one candle on there. And that stands for the one and only Jesus Christ. And he's in their life. He's been in their life. And they've been such an example to me of him. And I think that is just fitting for them because they've been such an example for probably more than myself. And if we're going to sing happy birthday. So who wants to start that?
Bobbie Woody.
Go ahead.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lula. Happy birthday to you. Real good thing.
Yeah. There's nothing in there, bud. Hut rock.
Happy birthday, Uncle Bill. We love you.
Well, I love you all too. I think I have enough breath to do this. I will.
I see your daddy.
Oh man, thank you.
We
Yeah,
went to school together, so
yeah, you know them. A little closer. Can you open that?
Just tell how you met, and anything that you remember that expected you, or that sort of thing. So we'll start over here. Since you're sitting in this first part. Well, how you met on the deal, how you met on the first time, and what you know.
Tell your name. You want us to learn?
Yes, tell your name and how you related or friends or.
I'm Susan Rives. I'm married to Jackie Rives. And the first time I probably met them, either one of them, was when we were dating, probably. Or at the reunion, at the Rives reunion. So we are kin.
But you're not a Reed.
But I'm not a Rives. I'm married.
Sharon. Well, Bobbie and, William have known me my entire life. And one thing I always think of, associate with William, is he can remember names and dates like nobody has ever known. And one thing that always sticks in my mind about Miss Bobbie, she was my Sunday school teacher. But other than that, was going trick-or-treating at her house and taking my children to trick-or-treating at her house. And somebody always had to hold the dog, because the dog would greet you outside.
Okay, Larry. Your turn, Larry.
My turn, I'm kind of old today.
No excuse.
Yeah, I still stay in contact with William. I call him every couple, 2 or 3 weeks. And he does have a really good memory. I wish I could remember everything he tells me. But I just get it down. I think the world Bobbie Lou still looks the same she did 20 years ago. But she hadn't changed a bit. They're a very good family.
Okay. Well, I'm not a Reeve, but I've known a lot of them. Me and Larry, I've known Larry for 60 years, and my daughter, Saber, dates Ryan now, and I just got the pleasure of meeting Bill just a few weeks ago for the first time. I hadn't met Bobbie Lou, I will later on today, but I know her son Mitchell real well. He graduated from high school, my brother was just you, but I've known the Reeves family for many years. They're all good people, I tell you this.
And I'm Stephanie Bolden Barber. I am the oldest great niece. And, so of course I've known them my entire life. And I have 4 sons who are mesmerized by every word that Uncle Bill utters.
Glad you hear that. I'll try to be more careful.
And I'm Bobbie Bolden or Barbara. Bobbie, Aunt Bobbie, first thing she said to me was, "Thank goodness there's another Bobbie in the family." And she and I got along well from day one. The same thing for the whole family. I felt like I belonged to another family. And you know, they always talk about, you know, you're not so sure the family's gonna like you. Well, I never ever felt like that. It was like walking, like I said, into another family. And Uncle Bill was very fascinating and filled out some things in history that I didn't know. My dad knew some things about
that day, my little mobile home up on 902 and William's house on 902 were the only two houses there. So we were next door neighbors, even though it was farther than you could throw a stone. But when I moved in, I had a wife and children, but that didn't last long. So I was all by myself there at that trailer. And one day I had met William just before I moved in. And one day I was taking a walk and he was sitting on the front porch. I went over and we started talking. So we established our relationship right there. And the Rives clan basically adopted me. I got to know Bobbie and Gerald and Wilbur and the entire family, piece by piece, through William. It was just a real fine experience. And in regard to William, he's always been a good friend of mine and a very loyal friend. And everybody here who has befriended William knows he's a very loyal friend.
I'm Richard Campbell, and William was my 10th grade first science teacher. And I've known William about over 60 years. We've traveled a good deal together, and in relationship to the Rives clan, I'm another adoptee. I feel very fortunate to have met William and been his good friend all these many years. And I hope to continue to grow. And I want to thank all the people that I know and have become acquainted with. And I've known Bobbie. Well, I've known Bobbie since 1984, and Gerald, and they've always been delightful. Had a good time, and that's about it.
Yes, I'll go next. My name is Denise Staley. My maiden name is Moses. So I grew up here at Bobbie, so I've known William and Bobbie my whole life. This is my Bobbie was one of my Sunday school teachers when I was little, and then in recent years we've enjoyed taking our youth group over there to do some Christmas caroling. And William know best, obviously, for whenever he moved back here, bringing his organ with him and allowing the church to take, I won't say possession, but leaving it here for us to be able to use and enjoy. The other thing I'll say about William is we call him William, and it took me a long time to figure out who Sandra and Ann were talking about when they talked about Uncle Bill.
I'm Monica.
36 years through George Smith, and I live across the river from you. And I have only one thing I want to say. William and I talk on the phone and visit, and we just go places, you know. One free spirit recognizes the other. And one thing I want to tell you how important this man is in my life, even when we don't see each other here or there. When I moved out to Chatham County 37 years ago, I thought I was going to have a bunch of babies. And I kept putting it off, and putting it off, and putting it off, and putting it off. And I was over having drinks or dinner with you one night, William. And Joey and I said, yeah, we want to have kids, but we think we're just going to put it off a little while. And William said, you know, you said, I've had a good life not having children. I love them, and you know, not everybody's just made to have children. And he said, if you don't want to have children, you don't have to. He said, if you and Joey were the only two people on the planet, you might have a responsibility to humanity to have children. But there's plenty of them. And so I just want you to know the biggest words of wisdom I've had in my life, because I credit William Rives for the fact that I do not have children. And I love them, but I love them as an auntie. I like being an auntie, and that's enough. And I love my child is my dog. So, thank you, William. You changed my life and Joey's life.
You give me much to credit.
I had a shift when I left out of your house that night and knew that I would never have kids.
Where were you when Sandra was a kid?
Okay, Melody.
Well, I'm Melody, and I first met William, the very first time I met him. My son was about 4 weeks old, and I was walking down the road with him in a backpack. And William was coming up this way, and he had a stick in his hand, and we did this to each other. And then I met him a little while later in 1989. When my son was about 9 or 10 months old, and then again one more time, and then he's been in my life since that time. He's just been a wonderful, wonderful friend and mentor, and someone that I love very much. And I met Bobbie the first time when I came to Moroni's church. She was one of the first ones that greeted me when I first came to Moroni. So, thank you guys.
I'm Jean Copeland, and we moved here 21 years ago. And early on in our time, I remember I met William. I think I met you at Reno's. That's kind of what I remember. But anyway, out the door, and we used to walk together a lot. We still talk a lot. And Bobbie, I met, BJ and I went with Bobbie and Charlie. Wasn't that Charlie's barn?
Yeah.
Charlie's barn to hear music, and the guys went up front, but Bobbie and I sat in the back, and we spent the whole time discussing whether the couple in front of us was married or not.
And let me add to that story. Gerald couldn't hear anything, so he and I had down the front row. Bobbie didn't want to hear anything, she wanted to talk. He enjoyed the music back in the front. And I want you to know that I met William at Reno's store too. And he proceeded to tell me what a shade tree does to the air to make it cool. And he explained all the physics of that. And I knew right then that he was the man I needed to know.
outside. And I met William for the first time. He was still living in New York, but he came back to Moroni's for a funeral. And I cannot remember whose funeral, but I met him at that funeral. And I think both of them are such special people.
Well, I just like to say that William and my dad were first cousins. And I met Bobbie when she and Gerald got married. And I've been knowing both of them all my life, just about. And I had Bobbie for a Sunday school teacher. She was mighty faithful to our Sunday school class. And William, when he came back from New York, he's helped us out in the church so much. And we just like to thank both of them for all they've done for our church for all the years. And hope both of you have many more birthdays.
I'm Bobbie Wood. That's Bobbie with a Y. I'm Bobbie. I've been knowing William all my life. I went on a date with Gerald and he went to date Bobbie Wood, so I've been knowing her a long time also. My mother and William's mother and Gerald Alden's mother were sisters. And Aunt Lois, William's mother, raised me from an 11-year-old.
We've been wrong too. And so,
All right, Sue.
I was gonna say, so then,
All my children. I can't believe it was my oldest brother. Papa Lou had such a positive influence on me all my life. And she still does. She's a super sweet lady. And William's a super good brother and friend. I like him better.
Wilson.
Okay, I'm Wilson Pope. I grew up about a mile down Ronnie's Church Road. And went to church here until after I got married, but then a few years later, sometime in the mid-60s, we wound up moving out of the community and so forth. And for the next 50 years then, I actually was a member of Bobbie Baptist Church. And about 7, 8 years ago, we come back where we belong. But all the reasons, you know, it was, oh, that road is the reasons, you know. Oh, here was accountants. My mother was an accountant, you know, different little sects when you go. I didn't, in my younger years, I didn't know William as well as I did the other two boys. William seemed like he was in New York or on a train going somewhere or something. But, and also Bobbie. And her and my wife are like best friends, phone tag and this type of thing. And a little bit when we lived in Salt City back in about the time I started school. Y'all probably didn't know they had schools back then, but anyway. Her sister Mildred, I got to know her quite well because you go into Rosie's and you go back to the toy section, Mildred was up there in that little perch, looking down like this at everybody. But anyway, we came back to Moroni's 10 years ago and didn't go to school or didn't ride the bus. I don't know. The bus came down McLaurin Road, went down to their house, turned around in their drive, and went back towards Moroni's. She would call me and say, "That is not all right." That way, I could wait 5 minutes later to leave and get my time seat. But she always did that. Anyway, I'm done.
Anybody else? Sandra.
I'm Sandra, his niece, and some of my favorite memories growing up was Uncle Bill was going to come in from New York, and Ann and I would both be very excited. He would bring us something from some great travel that he had been on, and he was always very encouraging. He sent me a subscription to National Geographic, and he's always been the amazing man that all of y'all want him to be. It was always exciting when he came in, and I'm so excited that he came back and spent since 1983. Is that right, Uncle Bill?
That was right.
1983 back in Chapel. I'm so thankful for that. And of course, Aunt Bobbie, growing up, was always so active in church and with grandmother, and me and Ann always playing. And she's like a second mother of always taking care of all of the kids, of always being a good role model for all of us. And so we're blessed with the love and gifts from having both of them for Ann.
Jay.
Well, I met Bobbie and William. I'm Jeff Roscoe, married to Sandra, who was the niece of both of the honored guests, and I met them in 1977. Although I'm not sure, did you spend the summer here, William, in 77?
I spent part of the summer here.
Okay, so I would have met you that summer. Probably the next summer that I did the drywall work for you, where I got 3 different Mr. Rives that I was talking to, but we won't get into that. I always remember Bobbie as just being a great storyteller, and having a wonderful sense of humor. A little bit later, we bonded over being accountants, boring accountants. Bobbie was just always made you feel special. I mean, she does that for everyone. There's a real knack for that. Just a wonderful person. William, one of my favorite memories is Sandra and I, when we were dating. She was very young. We took a trip up to New York with Gordon and Athlon, and we felt like we were grown up. That was kind of fun. And William took us through, I think, every cathedral in New York. And Gordon and I struggled to keep up. Really, really good walk. Kept that to this day. I saw yesterday or the day before out walking, 2 miles. And I had 2 miles in the last month. Both a joy and I'm honored to be here with you.
You want me to do you?
Sure. I'm Ryan MASH.BURNS. This is my grandma and my great uncle, which makes me probably the most blessed person in this room. So I'll start with Uncle Bill. I think my first memory of him was at his house whenever he had his dog. Well, I have 2 great memories with him. He had a dog named, I believe it was Rip, and he tried to bite my neck off. So I remember that vividly. And my next memory of you was you doing a magic trick with your teeth, popping them out somehow. And I tried for the next 2 or 3 weeks to get mine to do the same thing. And that's why I'm in the career I am now, I think. So I make teeth for a living, so he inspired me then. So, and of course, memories at Grandma's. If every child had the for the childhood that I had, because I had the world at my fingertips. I'd get dropped off on the bus where Aunt Betty would drop me off, and then I could just walk up to Uncle Wilbur's, and then if I got bored there, then I could walk up to Uncle Bill's. Well, then if I got bored there, I could go up to Sandra and Jeff's. And then I could go across the street to my house. So I had the world at my fingertips, and all of it was my family. So, and I love each and every one of you here. So, love you, Grandma. Love you, Uncle Bill. And, thank you.
I'll say one thing, Uncle Bill.
Well, I've heard many wonderful comments about and I don't know if I can get through this or not without weeping, but I'll try not to because I do nothing more than just a weepy old man. Weepy old women are bad enough. Weepy old men are even worse. I'd like to thank all of you for attending today. You have pleased me greatly. I will rejoice over this for the years that I have left. You're an easy, easy group to fall in love with, every one of you. So thank you, and especially for those who check on me every day. Sandra, Ann checks on me often. I have a malady of any kind. Usually they're minor, but I called with Ann because she's up on all these things. And she will come over to check to see that I'm doing okay. I especially want to thank Winfred, who comes almost every day to check on the cattle, and he often calls me to see that Steve calls me often, and Vicky, and they check on me to see that I have all the different things that I need. And I am also very grateful today, not only to all of you, but to Richard, who was one of my students 60 years ago in New York, as he told you. Now, of course, he's far from the oldest students that I have, because 73 years ago I started my teaching career in Hawaii at the Hawaii Episcopal Academy. I was 23 years old, and I had students who were 18. And if they are still living, they would be in their 90s. So I do believe it's a little rare for retired teachers to have students that are in their 90s. I am happy to report that I am 95. And of course, 95 what, you might say, and of course the word is a year. And we use the word year so often that I wonder how many times we stop to think, what is the definition of a year? How does that unit of time come about? Well, I think all of you really know the answer. It means you're sitting on the planet and you're going around the sun. You're making 66,000 miles per hour. And once you've gone all the way around the sun and come back to the same place, that defines 1 year. And of course, the year has more units of measurement. You break it down to seconds or microseconds or weeks or whatever you want to. So, I have been around the sun 95 times, and I'm not tired at all of that wonderful journey that I have taken there. I have had a long and a very good life. I have had a number of adventures. One of my great passions, even from the time I was very small was to travel. And of course, the first 2 years I did not get to travel any farther than Bobbie. But I had a great experience in Bobbie that I was telling you about, which was my first real travel experience. There used to be a train that ran from Greensboro to Sanford. It stopped running in 1938. I was determined to take a train trip. I had a nickel. I got on the train in Bobbie and rode it to Bear Creek. And I turned around and walked back. that was my first journey. So I have traveled around the world. I've been on all the continents except one. And nobody has any desire to go there. That's Antarctica. It's cold. And I never thought very much, cold places. So I never went there. But I have been on all the other continents. And I have had, I will mention very briefly 4 or 5 or 6 great adventures that I have had. In 1973, I took something called Voyage to Darkness. It was a ship that took us to Africa, Dakar, off the west coast of Africa, and we went there to see the longest total solar eclipse that had occurred in 800 years. At least that was the claim, and it did last about that long. There was a passenger on the ship that I saw every day and listened to many of his lectures, and it's a person that you may remember. His name is Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong was the first person that went to the moon, and he was a very, very pleasant guy, was very down to earth, like all of us are.
No pun intended.
Another experience.
Pun intended.
I shot all the rapids on Colorado River in 1976. It was a group of all of us were in the earth sciences, a graduate course in geology. We had a great, great time. I'm not sure how much we learned, but we were doing something called the correlation of strata there. And that was a very, very great experience and almost a spiritual experience. I and Richard and one of my fellow teachers that I worked with many years, we climbed the highest mountain in the U.S., which was Mount Whitney in California. It took us 3 days to get there, and I even brought a picture today showing the 3 of us that were up there. And you can only climb it about 3 or 4 weeks out of the year because it's covered with snow the rest of the time. And let's see, I'm forgetting now what the other ones were. The year I went around the world, I took the Trans-Siberian Railway, which is the world's longest train route. It's 6,000 miles, and it takes about a week to get there. And I even brought a picture today and put over there of here, of the friend I was traveling with, and very illegal, because we were talking about Siberia in the 1970s, but it was very illegal to take a picture. But my travel companion was kind of naughty, and he got his camera out and set it, I guess, on whatever he set it on. And while we were posing, and later he took a picture there. So anyway, there are other adventures, many of them, and it was very beautiful, very interesting, very exciting. I spent one summer on the Soviet